Testing. 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 Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be doing a review on the Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 5, episode 6. I'm giving it to you podcast style because I watched it late tonight and I decided to go ahead and get this done while the boy is sleeping. So I hope y'all enjoy this a little bit more laid back podcast style review. All right, so I actually took notes, you guys, and we're going to be hitting a few points. But before I do that, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let's talk about this Real Housewives of Atlanta drama, honey. So we start the episode off with Karen calling Ashley to invite her to her hometown. Karen's going to be the homecoming queen of her town, and she's inviting Giselle and Ashley to go with her. So we get to see them pull up, and Ashley does not look like she's going to a farm, honey. She has those boots on, which I'm not mad at her because I'm a girl who likes to wear heels. I mean, I'm only 4'11", so I wear heels every chance I get, but definitely not to the farm. And she'll see why a little bit later. We also get Giselle. Giselle comes, and honestly, Giselle, hold on. Now, when Ashley shows up, she shows up sans baby. When Karen called to invite her, she said that she might be bringing the baby, but when she shows up without the baby. And I'm going to say this, I'm glad she showed up without the baby because clearly, you need to leave the baby with Michael so that he doesn't have a chance to go out and about, okay? She references how last time she went out of town, Michael got into some trouble, and like I said, he was real eager to have that baby go with her, and now we all know why. I'm not gonna get into it, but as we joke about it, Ashley joked about it too, and Ashley said that she actually put a tracker in Michael's booty. It slid right in. Did y'all catch that, T? I'm just saying. She knew what she was doing. Your husband already has all kind of rumors and things swirling, and that you're just letting us know that he likes butt play. It is what it is. Moving on. Um, Giselle comes, they get into the car. We notice that Ray does not give Karen a kiss goodbye. Ray just is like, all right, sure, bye, whatever. He closing the door. And then the shady Bravo cameras, honey, showed him shutting the door on Karen while she's trying to kiss him in 3 different angles. Now, they ain't had to do it like that. Of course, we have Giselle making a comment about it. And you know what? I just don't understand why Karen brought Giselle. They sit here and they shade each other down over and over again, like throughout the entire season. But for some reason, they keep inviting each other to things. So Giselle has made it a point to make smart remarks about Karen and her homecoming and this trip. She made as many remarks as she could, but we'll get into more of them a little bit later. I'm just saying though, like we'll get into it. Let me not get ahead of myself, y'all. Y'all already know I'll be like, let me not get ahead of myself. Okay, let me get back to my notes before I run off. So the next scene that we get is Robin and Candace. And basically, they sit down and talk. Robin lets Candace know, we sat down, had a meeting. Monique was not remorseful. Candace gets tearful. And she says that it really hurts her feelings. She didn't deserve this. And that after talking to Karen, she's thinking about pressing charges, basically. We also get a little bit of insight into Robin and her tax issues. She is, I think it said $90,000 in tax debt. So Robin is going through money issues um, once again. And they showed during this scene a flashback to Karen and Karen's money issues. Now, while Karen's money issues were in the millions and Robin's are, is 90,000 the tax issues. So I guess, don't open your mouth too fast to talk about the next person's drama on these shows. Shoot, I might be talking to myself. Anyway, no, what I did say was that what I can learn from this conversation about Robin is that I need to get me an accountant, honey. I don't want to have to think about none of that. I said that anyway. Like the first employee that will be under Beast Style LLC is an accountant. I want them on retainer, okay? An accountant and a tax lawyer, okay? That's what you need. Okay, let me tell you something. You don't need all these you people be wanting assistants and editors and all this stuff. That's all well, great, and good. But get you some money, man, okay? Let them balance it out. Oh, but anyway, I done got up on a tangent. Let me get back to the episode. They get to the farm and they're stepping out. They are like really into the farm, like they're bumping to get back into the house, but everyone compliments the house. It's beautiful. Karen speaks about how her family were slaves and they actually bought the plantation that their families were slaves. Well, I said they were slaves as if we didn't already know that, but you know what I'm saying. They actually bought the plantation from they're slavers, I'm assuming, and now they own it. And it's just, I think that that's beautiful. That is definitely a beautiful thing to say. I'm sure as a Black person, that gives them so much. That gives her family just so much pride, and accomplishment. And it's very important to have family land, in my opinion. I wholeheartedly believe that we have some family land here in Georgia. Now um, it's not where we were slaves at. But Karen definitely inspired me. I'm like, shoot, let me get a little bit of coin and see what I can do. Especially down here in Georgia, honey. Real estate is cheaper. But anywho, they get to the house and everyone steps out the car, and I just noticed that Ashley in them boots, honey, Ashley's ankles were twisting and turning. Okay, I'm telling you, she's a city slicker. You know what they call it, a city slicker. And I know a lot of y'all think that I'm country, but trust me, I'm not this country. They were really in the country, and while they were in the country, we got to meet Karen's family. Um, we saw, uncles and cousins, but the star of the show was definitely Karen's aunt. They definitely did look alike. The ladies commented on that. And it was just really nice to see Karen around her family, to really see some of the stories. We got to see that Karen has always had a big personality the, from the beginning. Um, they almost got a little emotional. Just everyone really seemed to enjoy being around Karen's family. It really got to soften her. I was actually liking Giselle in this moment. Like, she was like, I'm really getting to see another side of Karen and I like it. And like, I was, I really do get hopeful for Giselle. And it's like every time I get hopeful for her, I don't know why I do. But anywho, we'll get to it. They ended up riding in the, what was it, combine, and chucking corn, and it was just a really nice time. It was really good to see. Before they left from that scene, however, they definitely had to give Monique a call. And while they're sitting there talking with Monique, Giselle gets upset. She storms off. She talks about how she can't stand to listen to that. Monique is a liar. And at this point in time, Monique is still not taking ownership and accountability for her actions. Now, I know a lot of y'all have been in my comments talking about Monique and how wrong she was. And again, I said it before that I felt like Monique was wrong. I did not say that she was right. But what I'm saying is it takes time to get to a point to where you are ready to realize and to accept and acknowledge that you had error and fault. Now, if we look at Ashley's um, therapy session last week, she owned nothing, no parts in it. Now, again, like I said last week, I'm not saying that Monique is right and that Monique is right, Candace is wrong, or that either one of them hold no blame. They both hold blame. But just like last week, Monique didn't want to own any of her blame, neither did Candace. And I'm tired of everyone sitting up here like, oh, well, Monique, yes, Monique was more. Like I gave y'all the percentage. I think I said 65-35. Monique was more wrong, definitely. However, Candace has some ownership in that. We did get to see in the therapy session this episode with Monique that she grew up a fighter. She grew up, in a environment that caused her to be a bit more tough, rough, and ready to fight. Now, that is not everybody's story, and that's why you can't sit up here and tell someone, push someone and then tell them how mad to get with you. You don't know anyone's backstory. So me knowing that I'm not a fighter, I'm not going to do things that are provoking because I don't know who here is a fighter. I do not know. And if, especially what I'm saying is, Candace has been raised around people with decorum and things like that. Let her tell it. You get what I'm saying? If that's the case, then she should know how to and not to act. And that's on period. Now I sat and I watched an interview with Candace, and she said that she did not realize that she was as animated and as hyped up as she came off. She did not realize that at the time. It took her watching the show. So again, looking back on things, hindsight is 2020. Isn't that what they say? So while Monique was in her therapy session, and I'm skipping forward a little bit, but since we're here, we're here. While Monique was in her therapy session with her pastor, it was the pastor, his wife, Chris, and Monique. Monique went on to, at the beginning of the session, she was still giving the blame to Candace. After that, pastor spoke with her and he said some real things, and he really did shine a light on how she was already boiling over, how she's been very much so the control freak and all of these type of things. All things that we can kind of see in Monique. We can see that she is, um, what would be the word? I would say very type A, I guess. We see that she's very type A. We can see that through Not for Lazy Moms, and all of that kind of stuff can cause a build up. And coming from her background, that is, it is what it is. That's how she's conditioned. People can be conditioned to be in ways. I think we need to stop um, trying to paint everyone with the same brush, or trying to make everyone else's reality your reality, or vice versa, however you want to say that. We all come from different backgrounds and different environments. And the taunting nature that Candace had from Monique's environment caused that butt whooping. But what Monique was able to realize is she was really taking her frustrations out on Candace. And by the end of the therapy session, she was able to realize that that point and that Candace did not deserve that and she did feel remorse. I just think that it's not for the ladies to tell her when to feel that remorse and she had to come to it truthfully, honestly, and in her own time. And after talking through her emotions and through her feelings, she was able to realize the error in in her ways. And I think that that was a real moment with her pastor. Chris even came to confront her, to come not confront, but to comfort her. So I don't like what I'm seeing online. Again, there's nothing wrong with holding her accountable. Just like Robin said something about Karen not holding Monique accountable, Karen did tell her that she was wrong. But at the end of the day, it's not for anyone to chastise an adult for their actions. They have to come on it, they have to come against it on their own or come up with that on their own. So I done got a little head, so let me go ahead and move on with my notes. And real quick, let me get back to Giselle and them with the conversation at the ranch and Giselle storming off, Giselle calling Monique a lion mother. Woo, 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 woo. You know, at the end of the day, Giselle is extremely upset. She's very high emotion, and again, it's only because she does not like Monique, and you could tell the way that she was standing there fussing about it, and it almost looked like she was pleading with Ashley to be on her side. If you just look at it, just to me, it felt like she's trying to get people on the I hate Monique bandwagon, and I don't want to be around her. I don't want to deal with her. I don't want to film with her. And if you watch What Happens Live, you definitely can see a reference of that when Wendy was asked a question by Andy. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I have a video coming up where I'm going to give y'all the recap on Watch What Happens Live and on the girls chat room. So y'all be on the lookout for that. I'll make sure that I leave the link bubbles up here on the screen. They'll be probably dropping within the next couple of days because I have to give my Patreons early access to it. So shout out to my Patreons because they already have access to my reviews on that. But anyway, let's move on. So then we have a scene with Wendy, and she was talking with her sister. She said her sister is like a second mom to her, and she's the one that keeps her from, I think she said that her sister's the one that keeps her calm and keeps her from cussing the bitch out. But Wendy, didn't you cuss out Ashley? I'm gonna keep bringing that up. I'm just saying because you're talking about what you don't do, but didn't you do it? You know, I'm just saying we got all this vitriol for what to and not to do. But I will say I did like this scene with Wendy and her sister. Wendy basically talked about again how she said, as she said, having a midlife crisis and is ready to change her career, and she fears what her mother will say. I find that interesting. I mean, I know they say it's cultural, but I mean, you are 30, what, 37 years old. She might not even be that old. She's somewhere between 34 and 37 years old. And you are afraid of telling your mother that you're going to make a choice for yourself. I think that that's a little deeper than cultural. I definitely do think that's a little bit deeper than cultural. And I don't think that that's healthy. That's just me. That's my opinion. I am not Nigerian. If you are, please explain it to me because in my Americanized way, vision, to me that just doesn't seem healthy. So I guess as a way to kind of help her get her nerves, she and her sister do a role play where her sister plays her mom, and it was really cute and funny, and I don't know many Nigerian families, but from what I've seen on YouTube and on TV, like it seemed like, it's I could believe that her mother is a very stern woman, but I can believe that her mother is a very stern woman, but I don't see why she would be scared. Scared to me is a bit much. Then we get a scene with Robin being, what was it? Tatcha. And when they showed the freaking previews for that and Robin walking up to the restaurant and greet and run, I was like, child boo, Robin. Like, don't get me wrong. Me and my husband have actually done this, and pretended to be different people. It's actually really fun. But Robin, you're not believable in it. And actually, the scene was kind of funny. It was her way of breaking the ice to talk to Juan about the tax issues, kind of make it, light. And it was funny. And he ended up getting a good laugh. And I actually got a good laugh. I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, Robin, this is a nice scene for you. This is actually okay. All right, Robin is giving me something a little bit. Like, even though I'm tired of her, like, I was tired of the love story between her and Juan, but I do want to see more of this interaction because, you know, y'all sitting up here telling me how in love they are, but we don't get to see their interaction that much. So this was a good scene. Like I said, they talked about it. I did notice Juan say something like, um, or what was his name? Dylan. Dylan said something, or Dylan or Juan, whomever, said something about, um, he was with Robin through the tax issues, but he did say that it was on her. He said he understood, however, it was on her. They ended up having a good laugh, and I just found it interesting that when they went to kiss at the end of the scene, Robin hid the kiss from the camera. I thought that was, I don't know if anybody else peep that. I thought that was weird. Side note, while we're talking about Robin, I just wanted to have a little style section. So speaking of Robin, I want to highlight her for a moment in our style section. Tonight, Robin showed us a new confessional look, and I have to say that I really liked the color of this. I guess it's a wig or maybe it's a ponytail, but I did not like the position of it. I'm going to show y'all a picture of her look. I actually just snapped this picture while I was watching it. So I thought that Robin, like, I really, really, really do love the color of this wig, but the position of it is just too low. The dress is already really, really busy. The dress is already really busy, and it has a lot of sequence and all this type of stuff. So I would have liked to see it more and it's a long ponytail. So I would have liked to have seen the ponytail pulled possibly to about the egg. Yeah, like still pulled back, not like a high ponytail, still pulled back, but maybe right at the egg of her head. I definitely do not like this low ponytail on her, and it also looks like a little humpy, like the shape of her head looks weird. I'm not trying to be picky, but I'm just something I've noticed. Like, this isn't the greatest angle, but whatever. Just things that I've noticed. So that's it. while we are discussing the style of this episode, I want to also talk about Karen's Cinderella look. I actually really like this confessional on her. I think she looks very nice, very elegant. This to me is my favorite. I don't know what that orange thing with the short, I don't know what that was. I don't know what look that was. But this look on the Grande Dame, honey, is super cute. And while we're talking about the Grande Dame, we actually get to see the homecoming parade. So they pull up to, wherever it is, and she kind of, the Grand Dame kind of dismisses, I don't want to say dismisses the ladies, but she lets them know, okay, I'm finna get in the car. We're finna start the parade. Y'all go hang under the tent. Now, I didn't see a tent. Did y'all see a tent? I was expecting a tent because she said tent, and I just didn't, I didn't see it. Tell me where the tent was. Okay. When she said that, I was thinking about like maybe homecoming SCSU. I was thinking like that kind of tent, but no, 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 no. Um, so anyway, let me see where I am. Okay, so once Karen gets onto the car and she, takes off and everything, Giselle has a lot of comments to say about Miss Karen, about how, Karen thinks that she has this inflated sense of reality because she is the biggest person to come out of her hometown, and she makes a lot of, to me, what seem to be like disparaging comments, as far as, she was really just talking. She like Giselle did not want Karen to have this moment. Like she was like, "Well, do you think they do this every year?" Well, don't they do homecomings every year? Like don't get me wrong, it was a very small town, honey. This was not the regular. This was not like a you know big Macy's Day parade. It is a small town, but just like Giselle pointed out, y'all had a little parade or whatever for Giselle's father. So this is an event for their town. Like I don't understand why she had so much to say, why she was so wanting to take the attention off of Karen or steal her shine, or now, oh, we're walking in the parade too. Like it was just really childish and petty to me. It really bothered me. It showed her in a very low light, especially when we're looking at how Karen is actually, y'all talk about Karen not being open and vulnerable. And she is being open and vulnerable and, bringing you back to her hometown. She seemed genuinely happy to see people. Um, you know, does Karen have an ego? Yes, she does. But in this moment, I don't think that she was inviting them there to be like show offy, as Giselle insinuated. And Giselle really got on my nerves. And then the next scene we see with, Giselle and Karen and Ashley is them in the church. And Karen really was again being very, very vulnerable and letting them know that she had not been home the um since her parents passing, her parents funerals. And being in the church was very hard for her. That, well, she felt like she felt their presence there, but um so she was really being vulnerable with the ladies. So it's just like, then in the next scene we're seeing Giselle trying to comfort her and trying to be, sisterly towards her, and it sounds good, but don't just be sisterly to me at all times. You know what I'm saying? Not just when you're kind of being a little jealous. Like, Giselle wants to be the biggest and brightest in the room at all times. And if she's not, she gets very intimidated by it and she starts throwing jabs. And that is why she aggravates me so. And so it's like I have to take all of these moments where it's like she's kind of giving me sweet moments and take them with a grain of salt, because she's the type of person that will stab you in the back and then hand you a tissue. And I just don't I I don't vibe with that. I don't vibe with her. I don't. Sorry, I just don't. But in that scene, Karen did break down and she had to excuse herself into the office, um, because she really was going through it. And I found it interesting that the producers, now the producers linked this to a confessional with Karen talking about Ray. Um, I do not know. I do not know how her breakdown about her parents linked to Ray. I felt like that was a weird place for that clip. Is it just me or am I wrong? You know, to me, it just felt like an awkward place to put that clip. And the last little scene that we had, I forgot to talk about it earlier, so we'll bring it in now. Candace met with her mother. They were shopping for a dog. They found a little dog. I think the dog's name was Mowgli. That dog reminded me of my first dog, Rocky. Like, it reminded me of it so bad. So I was just looking at the dog like, oh, it reminds me of Rocky. And her name was Rocky, spelled Rocqui. Okay, Rocky. But anywho, so she sits down, she talks to her mother, and basically they just go into, the fact that she's thinking about pressing charges, and her mom is definitely in agreement with that. She's saying that she doesn't want to be in the gutter and, to definitely press charges. So now we're getting the backstory on how these charges were filed. Um, but the only thing I did want to say about that scene, the only other thing I want to say about that scene, taking another little slide into the style section, was I loved Candace's look during this scene. I loved her smoky eye. I loved this little feathered little plume thing around her collar, this feather collar. I liked how she had her hair tucked back. I'm cool with the hair. I'm cool with the hair. I think it's cute. It's actually kind of similar to the color that I have now. So I think that she looked really, really nice. I really did like this look a lot on her. But all right, you guys, those that's it. That's all my notes for this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. So y'all make sure y'all drop down in the comments and tell me your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Karen and Giselle's friendship? Make sure you drop that down, because it to me, with their frenemies and with friends like that, you definitely don't need enemies. What do you think about Monique's therapy session with her pastor and her actually taking accountability for the argument? What do you think about Candace pressing charges on Monique? And what do you think about Robin Juan and the tax issues? All right, you guys, drop all of that down in the comments. Give me your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to be on the lookout for my review on Watch What Happens Live and Girls Chat Room. And if you want early access to those videos, if you want to go ahead and look at those videos now, click the link down in my description box and join my Patreon for as little as $5 a month. So thank y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.